Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving right into something that's literally everywhere right now: artificial intelligence. We're going to break down a really fascinating source that maps out this so-called digital mind. We'll get straight into the actual mechanics of how AI processes data and how it's going to integrate into all of our futures. So, let's just jump right in.
Okay, so the source material kicks things off with a feeling I think we can all relate to, right? Information overload. Even if you're someone who follows the tech industry super closely, just the sheer volume of new models and capabilities coming out every day can leave you feeling kind of, well, surrounded by floating question marks. It represents that fatigue we all feel when faced with such an abstract, rapidly changing landscape. But today, we're going to clear away those question marks and look at the actual structural reality underneath it all.
Section 1. From the age of confusion to the digital brain.
The source visualizes the core architecture of AI in a pretty cool way, as this glowing, highly connected digital brain. Instead of just abstract, boring lines of code, it's framed as a tangible hub. And to help us interact with it, there's this interface layer, basically like a friendly holographic assistant acting as our bridge to the system. It takes this incredibly complex idea of distributed computing and turns it into a concrete, interactive interface that's processing all this incoming data. And when we're talking about this architecture, we absolutely have to talk about scale. Millions. That is just the baseline here. This digital brain is connected by millions of these shimmering, flowing data points. Just imagine the staggering volume of information and raw processing power this system is tapping into at any given microsecond. It really drives home the point that AI is fundamentally this massive, interconnected network of knowledge that is just constantly firing and updating itself.
All right, Section 2, how AI actually learns.
So, how does a machine actually gain knowledge? Well, the source breaks this down into a super clear three-step narrative. Step 1 is data input, where literally billions of raw images, numbers, voices, and videos just stream directly into the system. Then, step 2 is pattern recognition, which is where the algorithm steps in to categorize and make sense of all that raw material. And finally, step 3, neural connections grow brighter. As it learns, the architecture actually shifts. The pathways that successfully map the data are physically reinforced, kind of like how our own human synapses fire when we're learning something new.
Billions of data points flowing in, illuminating new neural pathways. It is an incredibly dynamic process. Actually, to put that into perspective, training one of these major models involves so many computational iterations that it can literally use as much electricity as a small town. Crazy, right? But that massive surge of energy is exactly what allows the machine to structurally change, adapt, and refine its understanding. It essentially learns through just relentless exposure and mathematical connection.
Section 3, AI in daily life.
So, where do we actually see this out in the real world? Well, that massive processing power translates into highly practical stuff we use all the time. Voice assistants answering our random questions, your smartphone unlocking seamlessly just by looking at your face, real-time language translation, predictive shopping algorithms that somehow know what you want before you even do, navigation systems dynamically rerouting your commute, and even medical models scanning X-rays to spot anomalies way faster than the human eye ever could. This is the everyday applied reality of that interconnected neural network. And the source really brings this right into our modern homes. Think about it. AI is already orchestrating our smart lights, curating our TV watch lists, and directing the robot vacuum, which, let's be honest, is still occasionally getting stuck under the couch despite all that intelligence, right? But beyond just making life convenient, it's also acting as a direct study aid, synthesizing complex topics for kids. It's become this deeply integrated presence functioning right in the middle of our domestic lives.
Section 4, a collaborative human future. Here, the source material draws a really interesting distinction between human professionals, engineers, doctors, teachers, designers, students, and AI assistants, which are represented by these smart tools and intelligent holograms. Now, what's absolutely crucial here is that this explainer doesn't frame this dynamic as a competition or some scary impending replacement. Instead, it's all about augmentation. The technology is positioned specifically as an interactive tool designed to elevate human potential and just streamline our workflows. Humans and AI working together in harmony inside a futuristic smart city. The source makes a really deliberate, ideological storytelling choice with this quote. By painting a picture of an environment where smart infrastructure and intelligent tools naturally assist us in our daily routines, it completely shifts the narrative away from anxiety. It presents this super optimistic vision,
a future where human ingenuity and technological capability are operating in complete alignment. So, we've journeyed from that initial overload of the digital age to a really clear, confident vision of collaborative harmony. Understanding that AI is essentially just this powerful engine for pattern recognition and augmentation completely changes how we interact with it, doesn't it? Knowing it's a tool built for partnership, the big question is, how will you collaborate with AI tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep learning, stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.